Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I will be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and to attend the after party. Now, here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. I'm going to momentarily post the link there so that you can come on in. But if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you are inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching this on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. Now, if you find Stunthangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a like. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share the videos, and comments also help. Now, I'm not in Sparky's YouTube channel only like Mondays and Friday nights, so that'll be a slow way to get to me. But if you was to go to my YouTube channel, I will get a notification. You can comment in my YouTube channel, which is Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. All the words are spelled out, even if it's a double letter, it's all spelled out, Flying Control Line Stunt. And choose the video of flying at the U.S. Nationals. I think it's 2019. And I will get a notification on my phone, and I'll be able to respond to you as soon as I can. Now, if you enjoy what we do, please consider joining our YouTube channel. I mean, not mine, but Sparky's YouTube channel, which starts at $4.99 a month. There's 3 tiers, but it starts at $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges I can see in the YouTube chat, and unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. You can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box, to make donations. However, you have to do that during a live stream. You can't make donations during a replay. So like I said, every Monday and Friday night, 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, come on in, make your donation. If it's not a convenient time for you to watch it, then come back and watch the replay and watch it when it's more convenient for you. I also want to remind everybody to keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, don't use words or don't do things you wouldn't do around your children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link at stunthangar.com. Let me go there now. Here we go. I have 2 monitors here, so I'm looking off to the other monitor, and that's posted. Great. So hopefully very shortly I'll have some friends come in and hopefully some new guests. I enjoy having new people come in. And speaking of that, you don't need to be an expert or even fly currently to be part of this conversation. So let me see what's going on in the YouTube control panel. Let me go there now. This is Sparky's channel I'm going to go into. Let's see what's going on. Just bear with me for a second. Here we go. I see that it's streaming. Let me edit this here. I see Tom Ramel. He gave me a like. Thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate that. Look forward to a good evening. And looks like we have currently 9 viewers and 8 likes. Thank you very much. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. That helps the analytics of the channel, and in turn, that really helps spark you out. So appreciate all you guys have done and are doing. Well, until people come in, let me just say what I've been up to. I have been, this has been a tough week. I actually was flying my Strega in preparation for a contest this weekend. And Tuesday I went out there and I had a locking up of my control system. I actually lost the up input. And it was the first time it's ever happened to me. And the plane came down and all of a sudden it kind of came down and I was able to get it off the deck before it had a prop strike, but I just figured I had momentarily lost focus when the plane came down and did a touch and go almost. Then when it finally ran out of gas, I started doing my approach to land. Again, I lost the up input and actually crashed. It actually was a legitimate crash. Didn't do a whole lot of damage. One of the landing gears came out of the wing and lost the other wheel collar. And so minor damage, got some dirt, got the heads on the engine full of debris. Took it home and I was trying to figure out where the hookup, where the lockup was. I went through the whole control system and I found a piece of wood that had potentially lodged between the bell crank. It was floating through the wing panel. So I removed that and I repaired the patch. And then I went out flying today. Now I already had some fuel I had been using. And today when I went out today, I knew I didn't have enough fuel to do all the practicing I had in mind. So I went ahead and mixed up a new batch. I had a new container of methanol, a 5-gallon jug that I cracked open. And then I went to make basically a gallon of FIA fuel, which is no nitro. And I added clots, all synthetic. Made it my gallon. And I poured it into my existing fuel, which I've done it before with no problem. Well, it was a problem because that fuel I mixed today, I think that methanol is bad. So here comes Gary Sinclair. So anyways, so I get the plane running finally, and I noticed it doesn't sound like it normally does, and it didn't have the power that it had. So I thought maybe I mixed the fuel incorrectly and went back home and made a fresh half a gallon, which I made, and I was very precise, which I was precise the first time as well. Come to find out, the fuel is bad. I couldn't get the engine to start again, and just so frustrating. So it's just been a really difficult week. Hey, Gary, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing? I heard you talk a little bit about it, but I stopped on the phone and got on.
I totally understand. Yeah, and I appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much, Gary. Yeah, I was just killing time talking about this week, how it's been a very difficult week. And you heard the part about the lines locking up, right? You heard that part?
No, you just kind of started and I give my thumbs up and then turned it off and got on here.
So. I appreciate all that. So anyways, I had a bad week. I actually had that's a legitimate crash. The lines locked up. I didn't have any up. And so as I was making my approach, it went in really hard and broke one of the landing gear out and lost a wheel collar. And so anyways, I went to fix it. But then today I went out today. I have bad fuel. I usually buy a 5-gallon jug of methanol, and I buy a gallon of clot synthetic, and I basically make my own FIA fuel because I can't find it at a local hobby store. They sell all kinds of fuel, but it all has nitro, or it all has half castor and half synthetic. And the stalker I run likes all synthetic and no nitro. So anyway, it's very frustrating. Apps, I mean, the fuel is not cheap in the first place. So hey, Howard, how's it going?
Okay.
So what you been up to?
Little stunt. That's about it.
Hey, that is great flying stunt. Now, all right, do you make a lot of adjustments, or do you make adjustments all the time, always pursuing maximum performance, or pretty much your plane is done, you just fly and just practice right now?
I adjust from time to time, but I don't know what I'm doing very much, so it doesn't help as much as it would somebody who knows how to trim an airplane.
Well, I mean, I find that surprising. I would imagine you know an awful lot about how to trim an airplane.
Oh, nah. Well, I'm trying to figure out the theory, but not that good about the practice. I got it flying pretty well, pretty good old dog. But
yeah, what I saw last week on Monday, it looked really good, and I've been trimming my plane. I know I'm constantly fidgeting, but I didn't do much fidgeting today because I had engine problems. Hey, Carl, hang on, Howard, 1 second. Hang on, Garrett. Right. Hey, Carl, try to speak to me. Let's see what happens today. Don't hear nothing, but I don't see that you're muted either. He asked me earlier today to help him with his audio. No, we don't hear a thing. Well, here's your chance to just really go off.
Yeah.
Because we can't hear what you're saying. I see you pointing down. I don't know what that means, except for
I could imagine that. Yeah.
But you can hear us, right? Obviously, right? Okay. All right. Well, you can continue to you want to work on that, Carl. That'd be fine on your end. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, I know. It's just it's unfortunate. So, anyways, yeah, I really enjoy getting back to trimming. I really enjoy trimming planes. When you make a breakthrough and you've made the plane fly better, and it's so fun because it just, whatever you're doing, it just became easier to do.
Yeah. Go to flyinglines.org and look for the Paul Walker trim chart.
Yeah, actually, I remember when he did it on Stunt News, and I remember I had it printed. I actually had it coil bound, the whole thing. I even had it made into a book. So I
got one.
Really, I read it over and over again, and it was very helpful. At least, Paul Walker has some credentials behind him. So I took him at his word, literally what he wrote down, and I tried it. I mean, nothing. I don't have any problem with anything that he recommended. And on the chat, Jeff Riley says, "Hi, Charles, and everyone on the forum." Hey, Jeff, thank you. Welcome.
Hi, Jeff.
Welcome to the show. And here comes John Miller.
So, what locked up on your lines? Inside the plane?
It seemed like I didn't have any up. I mean, all of a sudden, it's like I couldn't get the plane up. It was like locked up. And so
all these straight lines here tonight. It's hard to control myself.
Are you speaking straight lines as in a joke or as?
Is it a joke? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's fun. Yeah. Yeah. Well, my line's locked up, or my control system locked up. But you know what? Actually, I suspect in the end that my lines lock up, and it wasn't the control, the bell crank.
Did you lose the plane?
No, it had a really hard landing though. Oh my goodness. I'm so fortunate that the red Strega is still in one piece. I mean, I feel so fortunate. That was a hard landing.
Check
And,
it over real good. Make sure there's no new cracks or anything.
Yeah, I did, and twisted the wings, and it seems like I have pretty good integrity. I flew it today. I hear some paperwork moving about. Carl, is your mic working now? No, still can't hear you.
I don't know.
Not me.
Every
Anyways,
I'm not wrestling whatsoever. I've got questions for Tom though.
go ahead.
How long is the thermocouple wire? I saw your videos, Tom. I watched you build the oven. How long is the thermocouple wire? That's the first question.
Oh,
It's gone.
weird.
You scared him away.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be asked about his project.
He's coming back.
Keep coming.
Looks like one of my vertical eights there now.
Hey, is this Sawyer? No, are you? That's not Sawyer. I think you look younger than Sawyer. That's one of Carl's grandchildren, I think.
Yeah.
But I met one of them. So we actually flew a trainer together.
Sorry, Howard, something happened to my internet. So the thermocouple is 4 inches long from the inside of the oven. It kind of...
No. How long is the whole wire? Because I want to put it in a composite oven, which is a bigger oven. I wonder if it can get down to where the stuff is.
You mean how long does it come in the kit? The
Yeah.
thermocouple? Yeah. I cut off a long piece of it, so I think it would fit in a bigger oven.
Okay.
So I probably cut it in half, the one that I had.
Okay. That's thermocouple wire, which I don't understand, I guess. So it's probably the similar materials. I got a whole bunch of thermocouple wire at a surplus store one time and used it to wire some stuff in the house, and it didn't work very well.
No, I bet not. Yeah, it's the actual bond between the two dissimilar metals at the end, and the length is not as critical as far as the temperature goes.
No.
So it's a voltage. It creates a voltage. It's in the millivolt range though. So you want to try and keep it away from other high voltage sources as much as possible.
Sort of low impedance, I presume.
Yes.
Another question is, what's the duty cycle on your oven now when you're cooking something?
Oh, it's about once I get it warmed up, it's about 6.5 minutes.
I mean, how long is it on versus how long it's off as it's cruising? Well, as it's getting up to temperature.
It's constantly going on and off all three of the elements. If you look at the last video,
yeah,
you'll see those three dots that are on the top of the LCD.
Yeah, I watched them there dancing around.
Yeah, they dance around a lot.
But what fraction of the time are they on when the thing's coming up to temperature? I'm wondering, namely, how effective your tile installation is. 'Cause it looks like it'd be easier to do than that.
Yeah.
Silicon
So
bed.
the tile insulation is definitely a lot cheaper than what they provide if you
Yeah.
buy the whole kit with their
Yeah.
insulation. The disadvantage is there's some thermal mass there.
Oh, yeah.
But once you first heat up the mass, so I would cycle it once without any boards in there. And then once it's warm, then it gets down to 50 degrees before it restarts, 50 degrees C. But then you at least have some of that thermal mass still maintained in the ceramic.
Mm.
And so the only part you really are concerned about is cooling it down. And at the end, when you open the door with the servo, it cools down pretty quickly anyway. So it works, it follows the profile pretty well.
Okay, I would better stop this.
Yeah.
And
Bye, everybody. Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
righty. Thank you, gentlemen. Hey, Robert, thanks for coming in. And Mike, thank you for coming in also. Appreciate
Hey, Charles.
it. Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right.
Good.
Yeah, it's been kind of busy, but I finally forced myself to do some modeling the last couple of days. So finally got that SV11 just about done. All I got to do is paint the engine compartment pants and put the trim
Wow. tape
tape over the gap, and it's ready to fly.
Wow.
So
Can
hopefully in the next few days, that in the air.
Can you show us your SV11?
Sure.
Oh, nice looking.
Yeah.
Nice.
I made it with a removable hatch too, so that I can get at the controls
Oh,
and then reinforce
that's
the
exactly
exterior
what I'm
with a
gonna
bridge of
do.
plywood.
That's exactly
What's that,
what
Charles?
I'm going to do the
That's the
exact
one.
same thing to my SV11. I have the SV11 electric in the box.
Yeah.
I was going to make it removable, the hatch as well.
And the cowl and tank compartment took a lot of work to fit a muffler in and stuff the way the R was. In some ways, scratch building's easier.
Nice.
So-
Looks good.
Want to?
The only muffler I had around was a Daytone, but it fits on fine. It should work. And yeah, everything. I think it's bench trim pretty as close as you can possibly get, so it should be okay.
So how-
Every other model I've had is flowing pretty much off the bench. I haven't checked the center of gravity on it yet, but
So how did you make your
everything else is.
canopy hold downs?
I'll pull it apart and show you. It's just 2 screws on the side. Just give me a sec.
Sure.
Helps if I grab the right screwdriver.
Yeah.
I figure around the canopy, I'm going to leave it untaped until after it's trimmed out, and then seal it up. So inside, I just cut away some to notch for where I put the reinforcement on the fuselage.
Right.
Concerned about it being a weak area, not being bridged. So I put a ply structure in, trussed it, and then gusseted it with micro balloons.
Very
And
good.
then just put I don't know if it shows up, but I just put a couple of blind nuts in there on the side.
I see it. Very good, Robert. Very good.
Through into.
Very nice.
So-
Actually, that looks great. I might copy your idea because there was a thread that Dennis Adamison led me to where the guy actually makes his wing removable. So it's a little bit different setup, but I'm not quite convinced or sure if I'm going to make my wing removable or not, but I like what you did. That's a very good idea.
I thought about that. And to make the wing removable and have the adequate structure the way this is made in the fuselage, because it's built pretty darn light under there, I think you'd be adding a lot of weight by making the wing itself removable. But the hatch, it's minor. It was, maybe half an ounce total.
Yeah, I like that, Robert. Excellent job. And the motor again is what?
Super Tagger 56.
56. Well, I
Yeah,
heard the
that's
Tiger
an oldie.
56 is the one of the secrets in the control line hobby, because this 56 is a pretty powerful motor.
Well, basically, it's a 60. They were the same case. I have another one here to go into my other SV11.
Oh, wow.
Very good.
Oh,
Now that one does
too.
not have muffler lugs. Does the other one have muffler lugs?
No. So that's why I'm using a strap-on Tato, and I had a couple of them kicking around. I toyed with the thought of making
Heard you,
a little
Carl, by the
plate.
way. Carl, your mic's working, Carl. Just so you know, just hang on. We heard you fine. Go
Okay.
ahead, Robert.
I've seen some, like Dennis Sadak just sold one. I wish I would have grabbed it, a 60. And what he had was a plate that goes over the exhaust port, and that little screw in the middle that they have for the old RC with the baffle.
Yeah.
Just screws the plate on with that, and then has it tab rolled through, depending on if you want to mount from the front or the back. So a nice simple adapter. So I have quite a few Super Taggers that most of them don't have muffler lugs. So and they're all the same basically, from the 35 through the 60. So I think I might just machine up a bunch of aluminum plates that are adapters, and then whenever I need one, I just grab it.
Yeah, I have a Super Tiger 60 that just like yours, and Frank Bowman, he massaged that motor for me, and he made that adapter, and then he used like the permanent Loctite for that screw and the webbing there, and it's there, so it works great. I haven't.
Fairly small screw. It's only 2.5 millimeter screw, so it's pretty small. You definitely would want some sort of Loctite on it.
Yeah.
And just belts and suspenders, I think I'd use a lock washer also.
Yeah. Hey, good job. So when are you going to maiden flight?
Well, I have to work tomorrow, even though it's supposed to be good weather, and I got a memorial for a friend to go to on Sunday, so it's probably going to be next weekend. But or maybe some weeknight here if I get home in time from work that I'm not too bagged out. I might head out to the Field of Dreams or down to Leduc and try her out.
Very good. I want to hear about it. So give us a flight report when you get that thing in. I have another friend who has the SV11, and he's flown it once with the Evo 61. He bought a second SV11, and this time he's using a Super Tiger 51. And in both cases, that plane flew really nice.
Yeah, if I'm not super thrilled with this, I've got a brand new Super Tiger 51 also. But I don't see any reason why the 56s shouldn't be just fine on it.
Yeah, I think you'd be. I'm looking forward to flying mine. It's electric. It's my only electric plane I have going, but I haven't started on it yet. The box is still, it's not sealed, but I've opened it, took a peek at it, but I haven't started the plane yet. So I'm looking forward to getting that done.
And then for next year, I'm going to churn out at least one Vector 40 so that I've got a builder a model instead of these couple of ARFs.
Right.
And I picked up a beautiful hand-cut kit, complete, for $25, all contest ball.
Where?
Oh, I was just at a swap meet we had at our contest.
What a steal.
You
Yeah,
must have had
and-
it done.
On top of it all, another fellow that I got all those Super Tiger 35s and the 51 from, he's got an LA 40 and a 46 that he hadn't mentioned earlier. So I told him, yeah, I'll take the 40 because that's what I was going to put in the Vector anyway. And he says, he's got the wing from a crashed ARF Vector, and I can just have it with the 40. So I'll probably build two of them. I tend to build in pairs or more anyway.
I think it's a great idea to do things in pairs. Those are the backup.
Yeah, and I like to set them up identically. I'm no expert or anything, but I figure that's the best fighting chance to have identically flying airplanes.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. That way, if something does happen, you can just pick up where you left off on
Yep.
the other one. If they both fly the same, I don't know if planes ever fly the same, but if you can get
I think
that,
they fly close enough, you know, that you ding one on the field or something or whatever, something engine craps out, hook the other one on the lines and go, and it's pretty much the same thing.
yeah, I'm just saying I never had two identical planes. I don't know if two fly alike or not. I just don't know.
Well, the guys that are really good, they know two planes fly alike. Chris
Correct.
Cox did on our site there about his Hellcats, and he's done two or three of them, and his first one actually flies better than the later ones, and yet the later ones he thought he was building them better, or maybe he was just more comfortable with it.
Exactly. Hey, Bob Hunt, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Charles, everybody.
Hey, Bob.
Bob,
Hey, Carl, did you want to say something? I know I cut you off. I was so excited over Robert's new SV11. If you want to mute your mic, go ahead and try it out.
No, I was just trying to see if you can hear me and understand me.
Yeah, we can. Your bandwidth is really low, though. You have low bandwidth.
Okay, how about the loudness? Same problem?
Oh yeah, no, actually, it's pleasant.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Pleasant. We're not all covering our ears. Normally, we'd be covering our ears. So
Good. Now I can put my 2 cents in. It doesn't mean nothing, right?
Yeah, I'd rather have it soft than have a bunch of feedback.
right. So what's happening with you,
Well,
Bob?
Charles, we had a very.
Oh, go ahead, Carl.
I was just gonna say, you and I had a very eventful day today, didn't we?
Very frustrating day. Extremely frustrating. I don't want to give any fodder for the electric guys today.
No. But really, you gotta take the bad with the good sometimes.
Yeah, John, I think I purchased some bad methanol. You know, I make up my own fuel, my own FIA fuel, and it's the first time ever happened to me. I had a little bit of fuel left, but good fuel, and I didn't think it'd be enough to last me the whole day. So I just recently, about 3 weeks ago, bought a 5-gallon jug of methanol. I went ahead and mixed up some new fuel and added it to the, lack of better words, the older fuel, and unbeknownst to me, I ruined that fuel, and then I made some more fuel, thinking I made it wrong, and I just had a terrible day because I had bad fuel, brand new, bad fuel.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Frustrating. And it's like it was 99 degrees.
You know, similar thing happened to me the other day. I got some bad electricity.
I was going to say something about it. I got some bad electrons.
I put on a reverse prop.
Chinese electrons.
Hey, Tryon, thanks for coming in.
Charles, did you ever fly your electric plane?
No, I'm kind of tunnel vision. I get really focused, and I don't do very well with doing multiple things at the same time. So, and I knew, and I've just been focused for this contest in preparation. So I didn't even want to start the SV11 until I was well on my way. And but now that as I'm going to go to the contest, by the way, but I'm not going to be able to compete. I don't have any good fuel, and my preparation has been prolonged.
So much for that.
Say it again?
So much for that.
Yeah, so much for that. So I'm going to still go and support the event. And I'm taking Joe Mata, who might be listening to us, and show him a contest. This will be his first contest he's ever been to. And Carl and I have gone to contests before, so he knows what Joe is going to experience. And so hopefully we'll have a fun time in the event. I just won't be competing. I don't have any fuel, and it's just really unfortunate.
You know, I'll try to still go over there. I'm sure you're going to find some fuel over there.
I don't know. You know, what I want is all synthetic and no nitro. That's not easy to come by.
A couple of flights not gonna hurt nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't like Caster, and it does not like the engine. Does not like nitro.
It would take your airplane anyway, Charles. You know, the odds are maybe someone will have something there that all synthetic that you can run. And if nothing else, fun fly a bit.
What kind of
Maybe.
motor is it, Charles?
It's a Stalker 81 rear exhaust.
Oh, okay.
Really sweetheart of a motor. I mean, normally it runs so quiet. It's not quite as quiet as an electric, but it's really quiet when it's running because it's only turning about 300 RPM. I mean, so it's just so quiet. It's unbelievable. And it has so
Only
much.
turning what?
6,300 RPMs.
I thought you said 300 RPM. Huh?
That's what I heard.
Sorry,
Must have one
6,300
heck of a pitch
RPM.
prop. Must have one heck of a pitch of that, like a 42-inch pitch prop.
Yeah, this has 8-pitch. It's a 14-inch 8-pitch prop.
Wow.
It's really nice. I have Gordon Haddon saying, "Evening all." Hi, Gordon. Thanks for coming in.
Gentlemen.
Hey, Eddie. Thanks for coming in, Eddie.
What's up? You hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Fine.
There you go.
Yep. Just
Does
One
anybody
more
else?
warning, guys.
What was
You're
that,
out
John?
flying, be sure and use your sunscreen. Look
Yes.
what it got me.
Yes. Oh man, you have more. Well, more troubles.
Where's it?
Wow. Well,
They really cut on me yesterday.
you stay on it, John. You definitely. I know you know to stay on it. It's amazing. But has anybody done any flying or any building or anything in their shop lately we can talk about tonight?
Other than being a dummy, no.
What, Bob Hunt?
I went out yesterday and flew a little bit.
All right.
Your arms
Too hot
tired?
here.
Very good.
I got
Can I
the
ask-
tracing program working.
Is this a new tracing program? I've seen the one before that I've seen. Is this a new one?
No, it's the Solero.
Okay, I think that's the same one. I think I might have
Yeah.
seen it before.
Yeah, it points out how poorly I fly stunt.
What
Yeah.
kind of camera? What kind of camera are you using, Howard?
A Panasonic FZ18.
That works okay? Because Robbie and I
Yeah.
are gonna, we're gonna work on that.
Just
I think any camera can work on that because
yeah,
you
any
have
old
like
digital camera.
yeah,
I
any
had to make a power supply for it because the battery was too puny to take movies for a long time. And that's I blew up one iteration of it right here live on the Stunthangar Hangout.
So how does that program work, Howard? You film your flight, and then what do you do?
You film your flight, and then you get this gigantic file, and you run Solero's program, and it takes the file you made and it makes an MP4 out of it with the trace on it.
Very good.
Meanwhile,
Tells you
showing
where
it to
you're
you,
at.
and you can't. Yeah,
It can be very demoralizing though to watch them after you're done
it's
flying.
demoralizing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it can't account for the angle. I mean, if the angle is off, if the camera's not in the right place, it'll make the
no, not
background-
really.
Really?
Not really, Charles. That program, what it does is called video augmentation. First of all, what you do, you do kind of sort of a calibration of your camera. You take the camera and take a video of a checkerboard, right? And the camera, the video is looking at the checkerboard and then stretches it out and moves it so to the point that your checkers have straight lines everywhere, right? So that's how it knows what your lens in a camera are seeing in reality. Because the picture it's always warped a little bit, you know, it's not exactly perfect. And after that, when you do your flight, if you put your targets at 45 degrees, when you take the video, you you point at those 3 targets that are on the background, and based on that, the program is setting up your sphere on which you're flying, and also it's setting up your 45 degrees elevation circle, right? And when you do your flight, and you can see exactly where your path is reference to those. So basically you have like a circle like this, and you have 0, 90 degrees, and a 45 degrees vertical slices straight, right? And also you have the 45 degree circle. So you have, and you can also take this and kind of rotate it around like this. So when you do a wing over, you can rotate it so you match the entry point, and then you can see if it's following the path. When you pull inverted, come back here, you can see if you're going on the same spot, on the same path, you know, over to the other side. You can see your 45 degrees on the background if you're flying too high, too low. And it basically tells you everything you're doing bad.
Really?
So,
Okay. I mean, I've seen
yeah,
that.
and there are a lot of videos out there.
I've seen that checkerboard background. I just figured that was a flat surface, and then we fly in the hemisphere, and so I thought there would be some problem with a hemisphere and a flat.
Yes.
Now, when you take the video with the checkerboard, what actually does, it looks at the camera lens, right? So you make the camera lens, it creates a file, right? It actually creates a specific file for the whole system to work, because the system is made so it works with any camera that you can use, and based on that, and they want to make sure that the camera, the actual image that you pull out, it's actually a true sphere, a true path over there.
Oh, cool. I'll have to try it. I haven't tried it yet.
The version 3 is simpler. It doesn't draw the 45 degree line on the sphere, and you can compensate for distortion in the camera, but the main distortion you get is from the sphere, so why bother? But what I wonder is what the error in that thing's calculation of 45 degrees is versus what you can guess 45 degrees is. And if I saw an error analysis on that, I'd be more interested in using the version 4 that has all the trickery in it.
I think is that the version 4 that has the 45 degree elevation?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of videos that were made at the contest by not the Solera, by a guy in I think it was at a New York contest that Bob was there too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I watched all of those videos, and there was also another video taken, a series of videos at a different contest as well. And yeah, it's humbling.
Yeah.
Yes, let me interrupt for a second. In the chat box, we have Jack Snavely says, hello all. And then Mark Blumen says, evening all. First contest at Topeka, Kansas last weekend. Fun day, ... I provided the entertainment being my first contest. Emojis with laughing tears. And then Mark Lumen says, may log, or maybe it says may come in a bit, I think is what he's saying. And then Jeff Riley says, how did you do, Mark? Hopefully you stayed a pilot and not a pilot. Funny. And then Mark Lumen says a bit of both. And then Jeff Riley says, ouch. And then Mark Lumen says, good fun, learning every time. And Jeff Riley says, as long as you've had fun, it's great. Now, you guys in the chat box, I want you guys to communicate with us and not amongst yourselves, except for just maybe just the gratuity, just hi and or whatever. But I really want you guys to be part of the show that we're doing here, because there's WhatsApp, there's other apps. You guys can go on Stunthangar and PM each other. So you guys out there in the chat box, please, I interrupt the flow of the show here to talk about what's going on there. And I don't want to be talking about a conversation out there. So please, no more of that stuff. It's been going on for a long time. And I'm just going to ask you, please, to refrain from doing that. If you just help our show, contribute, ask questions, comments, and that's it. So, all right, you guys. So we're back.
Last time I went to a contest in Topeka was 1960.
Wow.
I flew combat, one round, I think.
That was a long time ago.
It is. Many things are a long time ago.
Did you have a much smaller clown suit then?
Yeah. I should have been wearing a clown suit.
Now, what started that clown suit thing? What prompted you to do that in the first place? How did that come about?
I was living on the East Coast, and there was this guy who thought he was good at flying combat, but he wasn't, and had quite a reputation for flying combat, although he wasn't any good. And he looked like he should be wearing a clown suit. And we'd go to contests, and there's, what's his name again, without a clown suit. And finally I decided, now this doesn't make any sense, but I decided if he's not going to wear a clown suit, I'm going to wear one. So I started wearing it.
Knowing you, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Did you know that the first time I ever met you? Do you remember when it was?
No.
It was at a Union model airplane contest.
Union. I was there.
You were there. Yeah, that's the first time I ever met you.
I remember Harold Brown throwing a Budweiser can into the bushes, an empty Budweiser can. And I was rather astonished by that. And he said, "It's okay. It's red, white, and blue."
Harold was a unique character.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that.
Haven't heard from him for a long time.
Are you upset about that?
Not really, but that's kind of nice to hear from people.
I used to hang out with Don Schulman all the time.
Oh.
They were best buddies.
So I imagine getting beat by someone wearing a clown outfit would be humiliating.
I don't know of anybody who's ever gotten beat by someone like I flew slow combat at the Nats one time. I was wearing this clown suit, and I had a ridiculous airplane, and my opponent, he thought that I was going to surprise him with something, and he was on his toes during the whole match, but it was never a threat.
Did you ever wear the clown suit at the Worlds?
No. What would Keith Trussell say if I wore a clown suit? He didn't like the idea of flying a B-17 at the World Championships. He thought that wasn't serious enough. A clown suit, he would not approve.
Not like that. Yeah.
Are you going to the Worlds next year, Howard?
I hope so, yeah.
Where is that, in Poland?
That's my plan. Poland.
Cool. I might see you there.
Okay, it's a deal. Oh, you're going to be in the Romanian team, is that right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Sina is the Iranian team.
No, it's not Iranian.
No, that's Sina Gudarzi. He's the Iranian team.
Ah, okay.
He's a great guy.
He is, yeah.
Very talented.
He
helped
came
do
to the team trials in Tulsa with his family. His niece is really pretty.
Oh, so he's still he's also located in the States?
No.
Well, he was a couple of years ago. He stopped by.
Oh,
He went back to Iraq. It's the
You
only
like it
place he
here?
could get work. Only place he could get work at what he's trained at. He was doing menial labor over here. Couldn't get a job with graphics, and he went back there to be a graphics teacher.
Oh, okay.
And
I bet
he
you
helped
he's
me
got
do
pretty
a
planes
number
too.
of he helped me do a number of trim schemes on airplanes. He's very good at developing trim schemes.
Yeah, he did Paul Walker's Flaming Doghead airplane.
He did that one there too.
Oh,
Nice. Very nice.
Which one?
The Crossfire looks like.
Ah.
You see it?
Not to be confused with the Philly Flyers hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I tried to make like a presentation a while ago for people that don't know how to make a paint scheme.
I think you did a great presentation, but I think that was in the after party, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think one of them was in the after party. You might have done one during the live stream, but they were very good. It actually gave me a clue to why I didn't like some color schemes when I would see them. I didn't understand why I didn't like it, and what you said made a whole lot of sense.
It's all about patterns. I mean, your eye recognizes patterns. If they repeat over the plane, all over the place, the eye likes it. But if you like put circles and polka dots on one side of the tail and you put stripes on the other side with different colors, you go like, your eyes are going like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can easily use polka dots on the wings, on the tail, on the fuselage and stuff like that. And it's going to look somewhat decent, right?
Right.
Because the eye is recognizing the pattern. But it's a repeating pattern, right?
Right.
Steve Moon, whose brother is an art major, showed up the nets with wings that didn't match at all.
Yeah. Steve Busto was an incredible painter and trim scheme designer. He still is, though he's kind of retired from stunt. But he said something once that was really, I thought, pretty sage. He said, a trim scheme should look like it would fly, even if you took the airplane away.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Great idea.
My theory of making a super simple paint scheme that anybody can do it is basically do something on a fuselage. Thank you. Do something on a fuselage, and whatever you do there, copy it on the wings and copy it on the elevator. And it's simple as that. And if your plane is like a ballerina with round shapes and stuff like that, make your painting with a round shape flowing lines too, right? To complement the shape of the plane. If your plane is very squarish with the straight lines and stuff like that, make your paint scheme with the straight lines as well. Now, if you do like a ballerina with round shapes, use a script kind of a font, right?
Right.
But if you use the other one that's kind of squarish, use a squarish kind of font like Arial or something like that. And that's all there's to it.
One thing I'm always adamant about in my paint schemes is that there has to be trim down the side of the fuselage that's parallel to the center line of the wing. It's a straight reference line. So when you're, for you and for the judges, so when you turn a corner, they see a straight line. That's something I've always done on my airplanes.
Yeah, I mean, even with a ballerina kind of thing, you can go a straight line and then curve it around the nose, right?
Yeah.
Or flow it on the tail, but you still
but
have
you
that
want to
straight
have
line
that
over there.
You want to have that straight line down the fuselage.
I'm surprised that Igor's is not like that.
Huh?
Yeah.
What about Igor?
It's not like that. That kind of surprised me. I don't think it's kind of swoopy and not parallel,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, but if you look at pictures of planes that you really, really like, you're probably going to notice on all of them, they have this repeating pattern: fuselage, wings, tail. Almost all of them. Almost all of them. There's these rare, very rare cases when you see something that, and there's a gentleman from California that won the Concours d'Elegance a couple of times, right? But in the past, he's got some of the hardest designs to make, and that's only pretty much artists can go into those. Is where you make something that's completely different in the wings, completely different on fuselage, but yet when you look at it, it's all harmonious and looks beautiful, right? Those are so hard to come up with. But what I said, just do something on a fuselage, put it on the wings and stuff like that. Anybody can do that.
Can you enable screen sharing, Charles?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's one of the things I need to set up in advance. Sorry.
That's right.
Go ahead. We're all set.
There's my vertical eight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a nice plane.
Yeah, but the point being, see how the straight lines accentuate, what it's doing.
Yeah.
And the judge's eyes follow that when you turn a corner. If that line is straight, it makes the square look squarer. Of course, if you miss, it makes it look worse. So,
Right. Now they bought the shape of the fuselage at the high point of the wing to the end of the fuselage.
Mhm.
Does your fuselage kind of rise up? I'm talking about at the thickest part of the wing back to the end of the plane. Does that kind of go up a little bit, or is it actually flat like?
well, it actually goes down, and then the dorsal fin kind of fills in lets the eye make it look like it's straight. The dorsal,
Like what I have.
just as
I have a huge dorsal fin.
Well,
I like dorsal fins. My red Strega has a nice dorsal fin, and I think that makes a plane look kind of elegant. Guys, let me catch up on the chat box. Jeff Riley actually has a comment regarding my fuel situation. Jeff Riley says, I was thinking about your fuel issue, Charles. Sounds to me like the short can collect a lot of moisture, mix some fresh stuff in a new jug and give it a try. Well, you know what? I actually, today, Carl and Rita, I left Carl and Joe to go make some new fuel. I had made fuel before I even went there, and I thought that I might have somehow mixed up the formulations. I went back and made a half-gallon with fuel. Now I have these graduated cylinders, so I made it, very accurately, and it was the same result. So I've concluded that the methanol that I purchased is bad because I just flew Tuesday with some fuel, and the plane was running great, starting quickly. The first flip, and it had power, and today did not have any of that stuff. So I conclude that it really is a bad batch of fuel.
Did you try it on another engine just to make sure it wasn't like the glow plug or something?
That's an idea. I do have another stock 81, and I have a K77 I can try. But the red Strega, the way it's set up, that's the power plant of choice, and that's where I was going to go to war with. But to me, it's so clear cut, night and day, that the fuel has got to be the culprit in this case.
Hey, Charles,
Yeah.
did you ever sniff the container to see if it would burn your nose?
No, I did do that. Joe Mata had saw something on his phone that if it's fresh, you should, if you sniff it, you should experiencing the burning of the eyes and something else too. But none of that happened to me. I did smell like a solvent kind of a scent, but nothing like what I was anticipating. I mean,
No.
I just cracked the seal this morning of this 5-gallon jug.
No, he said that if it would burn he said if it's good methanol, it will burn your nose. and
Yeah,
walk
that's what it was. Okay, it did not happen. I just tried it before I started the show.
And
Yeah,
so
Howard?
I think you can determine the water content of that with a volumetric flask. It's water's sufficiently heavier than methanol that if you get like 100 milliliter volumetric flask and
Right.
measure it on an accurate balance, you can see if it's contaminated. I got a chart somewhere, the guy in Toledo made, I think.
Oh, wow, that's a good idea. I'm hoping I can go back to the fuel salesman, and I'm going to plead my case that this fuel is no good. I just cracked the seal this morning.
Where'd you get it?
Can't remember the name of the company. It's right next to another company that's called SC Fuels. And it's just a place kind of like BP, BP Fuels, kind of a place that sells fuels for race cars and trucks and all kinds of stuff.
Just go down to the local liquor store and get you some PGA, and it burns nice and clean.
I don't think they'll run on that.
Carl,
When
what
you
is
some
the
moonshine in
competition?
it.
Hey, Charles,
What
Yeah.
is the competition, Carl?
I just wanted to show one more photo just to
Oh,
illustrate.
okay. All
that
right.
straight line there. Here we go.
The Genesis.
Oh,
How
yeah.
hard was that for you to stand on your head that way? You got the picture upside down.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice, Bob.
But you can see, here's an interesting note about that airplane. It looks very straight, right? With that straight line trim.
Yeah.
But if you look at that airplane critically, you'll notice that there's not one straight line on the fuselage. Everything is curved. There's not one straight line.
Very
Even
nice.
in the back, it's a subtle curve. Everything is curved, and yet it presents what I think is a very flat, straight line.
It's a great idea. I will incorporate that.
Just a thought.
Thank you, Bob.
Mhm.
Charles, when is the competition?
Tomorrow.
You don't want to be over practiced,
Well, if it was next week, I would probably suggest that you finish your electric plane and just put it together quickly and take it out. It's an RFSV, right?
Yes, the electric SV, yeah. SV11.
I think you're gonna love that thing.
Yeah,
You have an
Charles?
active-
See, this is
you
the
have an
thing.
active-
I have nothing against, IC power, something like that. Whatever makes you happy, makes you happy, right?
Mhm.
But one thing, you will never get the super. I mean, maybe unless you are Fitzgerald or some of these guys that know exactly what they do, and they have good sources for fuel and consistency and stuff like that. But it's hard to achieve that. I don't know. I think to me, a bad engine runs or just a thing of the past right now.
What kind,
Well,
are you using Charles, do you have an active timer in your system?
No, I don't know what I have yet. I have a KR timer,
Oh,
and I got to look at the other components, but basically everything is called out on the Brodak website, except for I think the timer is different.
You should get an active timer.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
There-
talking to Steve Hines about that. He was thinking the same thing, the Federetti.
Fiorati or the Igor timer, either one.
They're both good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he was thinking I would really like that. So when I get to that, I will definitely consult you guys. I mean, I have most of you guys' phone numbers, so I definitely will be. No sense trying to reinvent the wheel. I just would like to build on the shoulders of giants.
You
Well,
got our number all right.
Well, Igor is kind of harder to get a hold of, but Fiorati, we have Okier has them in stock. They're here, they're present. All you have to do is just grab one, put it on, and be done.
All right, I'm not sure who was first between Robert and John Miller.
Robert, I put my hand up to call your attention
Right,
to
Robert.
Robert.
Okay, Charles, just you got nothing to lose for making one try with your fuel. What we used to do, still do for for full size aircraft with avgas, if it's just stored in containers, funnel it through a new chamois cloth, and avgas anyway, that extracts the moisture. You'll see it bubble on that. Well, that helps anyway if it's.
That's what Wino's thinking. Do that with methanol and make it drinkable. You can't.
No.
This rumor goes through Skid Row every.
Oh, it's got to be a loaf of bread.
Kills off wino.
Yeah. You can't
Anyway,
make methanol non-poisonous.
So what kind of filter was this? What kind of cloth was this, Robert?
Cheesecloth.
Chamois cloth.
Chamois cloth?
Like you.
Chamois is
Well, water's not soluble in gasoline, is it?
Yeah.
It's soluble in methanol, so you ain't gonna take it out by the
Okay.
filter.
Oh, really?
Because with gasoline, we'd see it, the small bubbles of water sometimes on the chimney after we funneled it. But like Howard says, methanol probably not.
Okay.
I
Well,
wouldn't
thank
think
you. I
so.
appreciate that. And John Miller, go ahead. You have the floor.
No, I was just had my hand up, trying to get you to see it so you could call on Robert.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Mike, thanks for coming in, Mike. Appreciate that.
Mike.
Yep, I'm here.
And Mike Millard, thank you. Both Mike Lonke and Mike Millard, thank you for
Oh.
coming.
Yeah, I just saw him. Another Mike.
The other Mike, yes.
Got a question for Howard on vortex generators when we get a minute here in the conversation.
We have a minute now?
We have a minute now?
As far as I know, yeah.
All right, Howard. I want to lay down these VGs you sent me. I have a few questions. I know they're left and right footprints. I see that. I've got your tutorial on how to attach them with the glue. My question is, how many per wing and where on the wing, what percentage of the cord, and should they go tapered with the leading edge or span-wise in a straight line?
And the most important question, do I need it and when do you need it?
No, I'm going to try them. I'm going to put them on my SV11. Howard sent me a bunch in a little trade we had for some maple motor mounts. So I'm going to throw them on the airplane and just see if it makes a difference. That's all. I just want to.
Maybe 20% cord or just in front of the aft edge of the sheeting, if it's a D-tube leading edge.
Okay.
That usually works.
So
And
just in front, and then straight with the sheeting or
yeah,
tape with the lead. Okay,
Yeah.
straight with the sheeting.
that's about a
And
constant
then,
fraction of the cord, 20%.
okay, 2 more questions. How far away from the fuse do I start? And how many do I put down? It's not in your instructions. You said you put down 4, skip a space, and do 5 and 6.
Well,
So
that's how to put them on. But just put on a pair, maybe at the outside edge of the prop, and see if you can feel that. If you feel that, put on another pair. See if you can feel that. Keep going until you can't feel it.
okay.
So what kind of feel are you looking for, Howard?
It should feel good.
Everything should feel good.
Feel good.
Well, yeah, it's hard to describe beyond that. Coming out of a corner is where I feel it. People that are more sensitive stunt flyers than I can feel the effect in various maneuvers, but just coming out of a corner like a lower right hand corner of a square loop, it should be easier to do and feel a little.
So just one set on each side? Just one
Yeah.
pair?
Yeah, to start with.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna go for broke and put like 15 of them on each wing, man, because I thought then I'll be as
Might
good
as
as.
well. Why you can't if you want to, but
God, it's muggy.
you
Okay,
might
so
be
just outside the prop arc, just forward of the
somewhere in
meeting.
that neighborhood.
Okay, all right.
I don't have any. I don't have one handy to look at to tell you what mine is.
All right. Well, there you go.
Mike, those are the questions I probably would have when I actually determined to lay some down.
Yeah,
I might put more than a pair. I might put 2 on to start.
Yeah, different airplanes take different amounts. My wing's all lumpy, so I got a bunch of them on mine.
So what I noticed when I put vortex generators on my elevator in particular, because that's the only place I put it, the plane was tracking better, but I lost some of the corner for some reason. But I thought, if you put vortex generator, it's gonna create more lift, and because the air attaches to the surface at higher angle of deflections.
The flow over the tail in a square corner is really perverted, and I wouldn't know what vortex generators do. I've tried them, couldn't see any difference at all on mine, but Dave Fitzgerald had a bunch of them on his tails.
Yeah, he put some on my tail too, on my plane, and man, it was beautiful after that.
Yeah.
Especially in the rounds, it helped in the rounds. I mean, it really, it was tracking much better and it's flying the round. Quarter 9, I don't think I ever had issues with them. I mean, I had corner to spare. I mean, I detuned the plane because it was so fast in the corner. Couldn't keep up with it. But yeah, but the rounds, it was a little bit, it needed a little bit of help in the rounds. And when I put the VG on the tail, on a stab, the rounds were just so easy to fly at that point.
I found that those trailing edge plates that I put on the trailing edges of the elevator do that. They make the airplane track better and corner better and lock much better.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to trying that myself, Bob. So it's not falling on deaf ears. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I've printed up some new ones. They're a little bigger.
Oh, yeah.
The vortex generators on the wing, I saw a paper by just a PhD thesis by somebody, and she said that it does away with the hysteresis in the lift curve slope. Like,
Did what?
With angle of attack, lift goes up one curve and then it comes down another path. And this makes it go up and down on the same path. And that's probably what we're feeling in the corners. That's my guess.
Now, when you guys are cleaning your planes, you have to be really careful. You have to be careful not to knock those things off.
That's right.
Well, actually, we're flying electric airplanes, so we don't actually have to clean our airplanes. We just occasionally have to dust them off.
Okay,
that's right. Yeah, but we use a really light feather.
I walked right into that.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Just open the door for you. Totally.
Seriously, Charles, I cannot wait to see your face. You're gonna fly that electric plane.
Yeah, well, I was looking forward to people seeing their faces when they see that Stalker run, because I haven't seen an airplane out there that runs like it. I mean, I've listened to contests and I hear the pipes. I like most muffler engines; those sound nice. But I'm telling you that this Stalker 81 is just a beautiful sound.
Yeah, I'm sure it has a beautiful sound, but what I'm talking about, the consistency and reliability.
Okay.
And the
with
ease
the
of
exception
use.
of this week, the Stalker 81 has been consistent, reliable. First flip starts, runs the same from start to finish. Just incredible. Believe me, if it was bad, I would have jumped ship a long time ago. It's just and unfortunately, there's not enough people out there who have actually used the Stalker 81 to even know what I'm talking about, except for John Miller.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that make IC work real good. You know, that's for
A lot.
actually a few.
Charles, what happened today when you went flying?
Okay, so I went flying today. I was all excited because, you know, I've been communicating with Steve about what happened with my plane. So I go out there today, and before I left, I realized the amount of fuel I had, which had been working great, by the way. Tuesday, I went flying, awesome flights, first flips, except for the very first run. But after that, every single time it was just fill it up, flip, and run. I actually made some more fuel. I just cracked open a 5-gallon jug of methanol, added the Klotz synthetic, and I added that concoction to my existing can of fuel. To get to the flying field, I can't get the motor to start. I'm having a hard time. I'm thinking, well, maybe I mixed the fuel wrong. I go back home and mix a little half-gallon of fuel, and similar results. And it's like Tuesday, that motor was running absolutely awesome. And so I surmised that I have actually purchased a bag 5-gallon jug of methanol.
So you're not going to be able to go to the contest tomorrow, or?
Unfortunately, I contaminated the little fuel I had left, and so I'm toast.
Is there anybody else flying a FAA style engine that's going to be there?
I don't know. I know one guy, I forgot his name. I know he had a Discovery retro engine, but I don't even know how to communicate with him. He doesn't, I mean, he understands what I'm saying. I don't understand everything he's saying.
Yes.
Did you try it in another engine to see if it ran?
No, I could still do that. I could do that maybe tomorrow. So I'm just going to go Sunday, and I'm not going to compete. I'm going to just help out and watch and meet and just have fun at the event.
Yeah, there's Kestis. There's
Kestis'
Igor
friend. It's Kestis' friend. You know who that is?
The Cuban guy.
Yeah, I don't know what language he's speaking. I'm surprised it's Spanish. I thought it was something else.
Well, Igor Panchenko.
You're from Panama and you don't know what language he's speaking?
I don't think it was Spanish. I could be mistaken. I don't think the other guy I'm thinking of was
Igor Panchenko, Spanish. Who has a helicopter flying.
Probably Igor.
I don't know what the guy's name is, but whenever we see each other, we you know, greet each other, and but I mean, I could possibly still take my plane and maybe just fun fly, but I'm not, I feel really ill prepared to, this week has just been it's been frustrating. That's all I can say. I crashed in my plane Tuesday, and fortunately didn't suffer a lot of damage, and then I fixed it, and then I have fuel problems. So I'm just really, you know, just frustrated.
You need to take 2 weeks vacation before the contest.
I know. I thought 1 week would be enough.
Your wife had to go to the hospital, all this kind. I mean, it's like, my God, either you got to quit taking vacations or take longer ones, one of the two. I
know. I just had a tough week. Thanks. That's right. I forgot about that too. Just stuff. So anyways, but you know what? It's okay. I'm going to, this too shall pass. It's just unfortunate. I have time to get ready for the Las Vegas contest. So, you know, I'm going to be getting ready for that.
This discussion about fuel brings up reminds me of a very funny story about fuel, if you want to hear it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys know who Gene Martin is?
Yeah. Gene Martin, yes. Yeah.
Gene Martin and Rich Jacobone and Frank McMillan and another guy named Pat Frangella were all very good friends who lived in New York, and they flew at Pelham Bay Park. And this is back in the 50s and 60s. And they used to fly Testers 39 fuel. Everybody remember Testers 39?
Oh, yeah.
Remember what color it was?
Blue.
Was blue.
That's right.
And Gene was known for glomming fuel off everybody when he ran out of fuel. And so he was glomming some fuel for some practice lights. And Gene knows this story and loves this story. And so it's okay to tell it. So the guys got together out there and they were getting ready to leave. And he was begging fuel from them. So they got some Windex and they put it in the bottle. And they gave it to him, and then they left the field, but they hid in the bushes outside the field and watched him flipping for about half an hour trying to get the thing started in the tank.
We had a nice clean engine though, didn't
Yeah, another interesting story about Gene and Rich Jacobone. When they were kids, they were flying right over by where the UN building had just gone in. And they were flying in this big lot, and some gentlemen came out from the UN building all dressed in suits, and they came over to watch them fly. And there's one gentleman with a pronounced accent, European accent, came over and was talking to them, saying how much he enjoyed watching them fly and asking them questions. And he walked away, and another man walked up to Rich, and he said, "Young man, do you know who you were just talking to?" And he said, "No." He said, "That was Doug Hammarskjöld."
Jeez.
Yeah.
Who's Doug Howard Schultz?
The Secretary General of the UN.
For many years.
The big boss.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's a pretty cool story.
Very cool.
Well, he really didn't enjoy it, but he was just being diplomatic.
What's that? What was that? I missed that.
Did any of you read the story back in the Clinton administration by some guy got into control line when he wrote a story that was published, I think in Stunt News, about flying in the park across from the White House?
Lafayette Park?
Yeah, did you remember that story?
No.
I've never seen it.
The guy had a sense of humor, but it was absolutely hilarious story. And it was published in Stunt News. I know it was. So I think it was either right while you were editor, Bob, or right before you became editor.
Before me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
wow, interesting.
That'd be an interesting place. Wouldn't be an interesting place to try to fly now, the way things are
Well,
going.
it's not necessarily true. The story might have been made up.
Yeah.
Now, wasn't there some really famous musicians that were control
Sure.
line guys? I mean, I'm thinking about that one plane. It's like the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, their sax player.
Okay.
There's a number of radio control guys who are famous musicians. Ace Frehley from Kiss and Johnny Rutherford from the racing world. He was a giant scale flyer. And Jack Sheeks taught AJ Foyt how to fly.
Wow.
Roy Orbison.
Was fun.
And Roy Orbison. I got to meet and talk to Roy at Toledo for half an hour when we talked about airplanes. Music.
Ronnie Millsap too.
He died after he made a big purchase at Hobby Lobby here in Nashville, and he died the next day. Now, I'm not talking Hobby Lobby, the chain store, Hobby Lobby, the RC store.
Right.
They only had one physical storefront in the United States, and it was right here in Nashville, right down the road from me. And it just closed like 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, Roy Orbison went in there, bought a bunch of RC stuff, and then they found him dead the next day.
Probably got his bill.
Other famous people who flew were Danny Ongaias, the Indy car racer and drag racer. He flew pylon racing. And Rick Mears. I actually had a phone interview with Rick Mears. He called me. I called his manager when I saw him on TV in a wheelchair after an accident. He had a chipmunk, a RC chipmunk. And so I got in touch with, when I was at Flying Models, I got in touch with his manager, and they had him call me for an interview. It was pretty cool. He's a nice guy.
Montoya flew too.
Who?
Montoya,
yeah, and so did Senna.
Yeah. Montoya still flies, I guess.
Who?
Now that he's done racing, he still flies quarter scale and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Ronnie Millsap tried it once.
Hey, I just bought some balsa wood from Oki Air,
Yeah.
and I just got it yesterday. And yeah, it was a little expensive, but boy, I tell you what, it was really nice, good, clean, light balsa wood.
Yeah,
It
I
was-
just got some here about a month ago and it was nice.
Yeah,
What
Hey,
kind
I
of
was-
weight range was it?
good stuff. It's worth the price in today's market.
What was the
Hey,
weight range?
What?
Go
What
ahead,
was the
Charles.
weight, the density?
Oh, I don't. I haven't weighed it. I just went like this with the whole box, and it's light. It's
Okay.
got to be between 4 and 6 pounds.
Yeah,
Really?
mine all came out just under 5 pounds.
Huh?
Yeah.
Great.
It wasn't
And
4
it's-
pounds, but it wasn't.
These four
up
from
towards-
SIG.
It's,
I just
yeah.
got these four from SIG.
You
One
got
was
4-pound wood from
16
SIG?
ounces, and the other three are 18. The 16 ounce is 4.5 pounds per square inch, and these are right at 5.
Yeah,
You
well,
think that
Yeah.
SIG?
I expect that with SIG because SIG managed to get a complete shipment out of some Ecuadorian balsa grower
Yeah.
before
I guess
they
he's- the
everybody
new
else
guy
got in there.
made
I
a
think you meant 4.5 pounds per cubic foot.
Yep.
Yeah, you said square inch.
no, sorry about that. Yeah,
That's pretty
cubic
heavy.
foot. Yeah.
That's
That's
still-
iron. That's that
And the rest
ironwood.
of it is right at 5.
Yeah.
So it's good stuff. Nice, straight.
Yeah,
I
that's
seen
the-
this on a YouTube video, and I couldn't believe that it was so simple, and none of us had thought of it that flew electric. You got batteries that you need discharge. What the guy does, he takes his charger. This one will just, the battery would plug right into it
Okay.
to do that. And then he takes a battery checker and plugs that in. So you have the voltage, and he then puts it on lead acid and charges his car battery.
Oh,
And you can pour the amps to it, so it's just like, 5 minutes your battery is discharged. It's like, how easy was that? It's like, here we're putting them on the charger and letting the charger do it. But yeah, he's like, you just watch this when it gets down under 5.2 or 3.8 a cell. He runs it down, and then when he comes back in, he puts it, says he balances it back.
You gotta
with
watch
the
it.
charger, just make sure it's below.
But you have to watch it, Steve. I mean, and that, if you use like a Cell Pro, you just put it on storage charge and it beeps when it's done.
Yeah, but usually it takes like 4 hours.
Well, it
If you
depends.
only have one battery,
No, I can discharge batteries in less than half an hour.
on what?
I can discharge a battery in less than half an hour,
Well,
or a whole bunch of them actually.
On what is this now?
Let's look at the logic. When you're flying them, you're discharging them in 5 minutes and 25 seconds.
Right. And that's what it is here, using a charger. What are you using to discharge?
Cell Pro. I have the Cell Pro charger, the one from FMA, the Cell Pro with a 6-position parallel board, and you can set how many amps you want the thing, to discharge. I mean,
What?
Why
Mine does
would
the
you-
same thing too, but it doesn't discharge it. It'll set at 5 amps, and it runs up there. Then it gets hot, and it can't dissipate the heat fast enough, so it drops down on how many amps. It's discharging under 1 amp. It's not even discharging at 5 amps, let alone 20 some amps like your airplane would.
I'm not saying you bring them down in 5 minutes. I'm saying you can bring 6 of them down in half an hour.
Yeah, mine doesn't have that big of a heat sink in it to get rid of that much heat.
The Cell Pro has a fan in it and everything. It's expensive charger.
For For not very
Well-
much money, you can get this AO Coda things, Chinese.
The what?
They're
Yeah, for-
Coda brand name.
Yeah, for $68. But
No,
usually,
they're like $6.8. Well, I don't think they're more than 15, and you can daisy chain them. They come with light bulbs. They discharge into 50-watt quartz halogen light bulbs, and it's
But the
kind of
other-
handy because you can. If you fly until dark like I do, you can see to pick up your stuff.
but well, the other thing is that I got that test stand thing, but anyone can make one up, put a motor on it, stuff, hook a ESC to it, set the ESC at a voltage of a low voltage cutout of 3.6. Usually that's the top one you can go on it. Start the thing up, have it clamped to a bench, and it'll run that out in 5 minutes.
Oh, you could do that, I guess.
But 3.6 is not a good idea because actually it's about 3.85 in storage charge.
Right. You got to bring it back up, but they charge a whole lot faster than they discharge.
So why charge them after you discharge them? Discharge them to charge them.
Just to
Doesn't
bring
make
it to
any
storage charge.
Just discharge them to storage charge.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, but you can't set, I don't think you can set that in your ESC to discharge a storage charge.
All right. How about this idea? First of all, I like to discharge them in the air.
Right.
Yeah, fly
And-
stunt. You can fly stunt.
and after that just like you can put a half time in your timer and just fly half a flight. You're on storage charge.
Well,
Yeah,
sometimes when you go flying, for one reason or another, you don't fly all your batteries out. If you charge 6 or 7 batteries, you want to do 5 flights, you got 2 batteries to discharge. And
Right.
what I like to do, if I'm going to leave them for any length of time at all, I'll discharge I'll charge the batteries all the way up, all the batteries that I used, and then put everything on storage charge and bring them all down to the same amount. That way they're all at the same point. But that's if I'm going to leave them for any length of time.
But I mean, I thought that was a great idea to use a charger. If you only have one or 2 batteries, I mean, if you can't spare 5 minutes, to get it down to 50% wouldn't even be 5 minutes, then you charge way too many batteries for how much time you got in a day. You better only charge 1 battery if you can't spare 5 minutes to discharge one. But I just, for 5 minutes, that ain't nothing. Same thing as a flight.
Sounds cool.
But, I figure it's an easy way. And, if something happens, then, because usually I'll charge, just 2 before I go when Samantha wants, and then start charging another 2 when we're there. And as long as I got 2 charged, we can just keep going through on the charger.
Not everybody can charge at the field, so.
You just bring if you can charge, you can hook it up to your car battery.
If you have that option to do that, not everybody does. Or if you have a field, like I fly at an RC field where we have electrical service, so we can plug in and charge, just take our regular charger out and charge. But not everybody has that option.
I haven't never seen a charger that can't charge on DC. Most everybody hooks it to a power source that turns it to DC. I guess if you carried your airplanes there and you didn't have a car, or you was riding a bicycle, you'd have a hard time. But if you have a charger in a car, you should be able to charge your batteries.
Well, I remember going out one day when I started charging off the car, and I flew a whole day, and the car almost wouldn't start at the end of the day.
That's why.
You got to start your car every now and then.
Yeah.
That's why Steve's saying you can use what's left in your batteries to charge your car before you try to start it.
So what I did instead was I bought enough batteries that I could charge them up at home and just go fly that many batteries and go home.
Yeah.
But you know, I've heard that, but I've never. I've charged like 8 batteries before. I never had.
Fly all day sometimes.
Huh?
Fly all day and charge. You know, I have a couple of batteries and charge them. You know, charge all day long, and you'll find out that you can actually get it to the point where the car will almost not start.
Yeah, that sounds.
Well,
This if you have an old
halfway
battery.
through, start the car and sit under the air conditioning and cool down, and then
well,
your battery's charged up and you're good for another half a day. Or you could carry another battery with you.
I generally carry 5 or 6 batteries charged, and I fly 5 or 6 flights and go home.
Yeah, I mean, usually no one goes for the whole day, but.
Yeah.
Hey, Lynn, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Hi, Lynn.
Good.
Hey, man.
Hey, Lynn, you ever find my address?
Nope, that's what I was looking for earlier this week. I never got it.
I'll PM you.
All right, if you could do that, that'd be great, because I didn't get it. I looked
Yeah,
for it.
Hey, John, he won't get it next time either. You got to know that guy.
Oh.
Wonder if there's a way to
Guys are
tap
bad.
into a Prius or a Tesla to charge and discharge batteries.
Oh, that'll be. It's a good idea.
Yeah, probably just hook into your cigarette lighter somehow or something. That's be 12 volts.
Yeah, it's got a fuse in it, probably. Won't get too much poop out of it.
Well, yeah, there's got to be a way to charge. And if you fly enough in a day to discharge that battery where you can't drive home, you'll be world champion.
Yeah, Igor probably has that problem. But he starts his car though sometimes.
How many milliamps is your Tesla battery?
I don't know. It's the long range one, so it's pretty good.
Few million, probably.
I don't know.
Milliamps. They probably rate that in true amps.
Milliamp, yeah. I don't know. It's good for about 400 miles.
Yeah. How far you think one of these batteries would take you? 2 feet?
I don't know.
So you could kind of figure out how many times you could charge that little thing.
Yeah, it's calculable, but it's high voltage. I don't know how you'd get at it to.
How long does it take to charge the Tesla?
Depends on where you're charging it. Just on their high-speed chargers, I generally
Depends on how big their diesel generators are.
half an hour.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
That's full charge?
No. But
I like the one you just drive into now. You just drive into it, and it takes about six hours to charge the battery. Yeah, that's considered, well, that's a high speed, so it's probably either a 3-phase charger or
6 hours pretty pokey.
Yeah, but what it is that they're putting them in like you and high class workers who have their own parking spot.
Yeah.
When they get to work, they just pull into their parking spot and it automatically starts charging their car.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Howard's
kind of
retired,
cool
so he
idea.
doesn't go to work.
Huh?
Howard's retired, so he doesn't go to work.
Yeah, he brought his park. He still has his parking spot there with his name on it. That he's famous there at Boeing.
Well, no, I got a parking spot at the house.
Oh yeah.
He's renting it out to the president of the company.
No, it's I was surprised. It was a pretty easy trip to the Nats and back with a Tesla.
Sure is a cool looking thing.
Yeah.
Did you just stop to have dinner or lunch somewhere while it was charging?
Usually just take a whiz. I just stop to take a whiz.
That's a long whiz.
Well,
the older you get, the longer it takes you to whiz. So the damn car's charged by the time you get back out there.
That's true too, but it also a lot of these things are in the far corners of parking lots for grocery stores. And you hike to the grocery store, the bathrooms at the back of the grocery store. So the whole experience takes a while.
The brave new world.
Sounds like a great setup to me.
Well, I had to drive into Salt Lake yesterday, and I actually saw 3 Teslas on the freeway, and we're doing 80 miles an hour, and they weren't worried at all.
Last time I drove into Salt Lake, I came out, my car was all brown.
Too bad you didn't have American sticker flags all over it.
Oh boy.
That was for you, Mike, wherever you are.
There somewhere.
Is that me or who are you talking to?
No, Mike Lodkey.
Oh.
Yeah, I passed through there at 80 miles an hour.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you make Parley's pass?
How'd I make what?
You know, the I-80 going up to Park City from Salt Lake?
Oh, I went on, what's the road that goes through Ogden, the north side of town?
Oh, you went the Whippy way, okay.
The Whippy way, yeah.
All I know is about 2 months ago, I was on the expressway and we were doing 80. And I seen this car I knew there was a car behind me in the truck. And I seen it kind of coming out looking and trying to change lanes. All of a sudden it got a space. It jumped out and it was one of them Tesla S's or whatever that real sporty one is. And I swear to God, from the time it jumped out from behind me till it passed me, it had to be doing 120 miles an hour. I've never seen anything accelerate like that in my life.
They got some acceleration.
Instantaneous torque.
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't believe how fast that could go from 80 to like 120. It was just like, and I'm like,
from a standing start.
Yeah. We're talking about electric, Charles. So
Yeah,
it's
but
all part of airplanes.
not electric airplanes, though.
This will go into airplanes.
I like
Airplanes.
Does that use any nitro?
No, this is IA only.
If you're not careful, you get oil all over it, though.
Runs off of M&Ms.
That's right. That's exactly what it is, Tom. Yeah, you're supposed to store M&Ms in and you eat M&Ms out of it. I haven't put M&Ms in there once, but I just said my wife got it for me. So
hey, I'll give a do's and don'ts on a thing here.
Okay.
I bought a brand new speed controller. I mean, ESC. It's a badass. So
Sure is.
I soldered everything on, and I did a new way because I seen that where you put a small piece of heat shrink on the 2 wires, and then a big part because this has an indent in it, and then shrink it all together. That worked good. New way of putting the ends on that all worked good. So I'm like, that's a good deal. Well, I forgot to order the programmer. So I get the programmer, and it's like the Jetty box. So it has 2, I don't know if you can see that, 2 little holes in it.
Okay, see it.
One's for power, and one's for to plug the box in. So I hooked power to it, and the light came on. And then I hooked up the ESC and nothing happened. It doesn't read out. And I'm like, well, hell, what's wrong with this? And I thought to myself, well, maybe you have to power up the ESC also. So I hook a battery to it.
Oops.
Next thing you know, the back of my hand's getting really hot, and I unplug everything. I found out that you don't hook this battery to this unless you have a non-powered BSC. So if you power it from both ends, the speed controller does not like it.
I don't.
So then I just powered it up normal after I called and said, hey, how's this work? And it works. No problem. I programmed it. Spent about an hour and a half putting everything back in that electric vector. Got all the lines adjusted stuff. It doesn't work. I'm like, what the shit? So I had to pull everything back out of it, put it in the test stand. That little bit of time with the two batteries hooked to it, I ruined $40 at the speed of light.
Just out of curiosity, does anybody know anything about those new badass ESCs? How fast the governor is?
It's so that's the reason why I wanted to test it. I got a new one coming, and I'll do it better next time. It will let a motor turn up to 40,000 RPM. It's twice as fast as a normal ESC.
I'm talking about the governor.
Yeah.
The governor
measures some of those things.
Yeah.
The governor on this one has two governor modes. A and B. And if you go into the site, it tells you if you're using this battery with this kV, and it gives you a formula to figure out if you have to fit the A or the B to get the greatest
speed of governing.
Yeah, speed of governing based on that number, not because I talked to Lucius and he's like, yeah, one size governor doesn't fit all with different kV motors. You lower the kV, you got to do something different to the governor
It'd be nice
mode.
if we had a less expensive ESC that had a fast enough governor for the active timers.
Yeah. Have Dean do some experiments.
I was just on the phone with Dean just before I came on here.
Yeah, call him back.
Yeah, not right now.
Do some measurements.
Does anyone know what that little gray thing is right there? That's what got hot.
Yes.
Hang on. I gotta make you big enough so I can see it.
It's probably
where?
Probably a diode.
Right here. It's gray on top, black on the bottom.
It's probably a diode.
Not in focus.
Lemon like that.
What would you say, Tom?
It's not in focus, so I couldn't tell.
Well, with two colors, one on the other, that's usually a diode.
Did it say anything on it?
Yeah, I have to go get my glasses. It has a letter and a couple numbers.
It says, "Do not get hot."
Yeah. But I do know whatever it's for, it screws up the BSC because it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't send any signals out to the. It takes the program. It'll let you change all that. It just won't send
Maybe
anything.
if there's any ESCs out there that are equivalent in governor speed to the what's supposed to be Igor's proprietary spin 66, not the pro, but the spin.
Yeah. Not only do you want how it governs, but you want the step response to inputs from the Igor timer. If you're using a constant speed timer, that doesn't matter, but it does for those of us using the active time.
Well,
They
you know,
don't
that's
know what to measure. Let me know.
that's
what
the reason why I wanted to test this, was just so I could see if it reacts as fast as it, you know, it's supposed to switch, you know, so fast that it can run 40,000 RPM.
Put it on an oscilloscope. Give it a step input. See what happens. Compare
See how
that
it
to
does?
spin 66. Yeah.
Because I got the Jetty, and what
You're in business. You got an oscilloscope.
Lucian said, I talked to Lucian about it, and he knew about the Jetty and stuff. And he said the reason why they slowed down the Jetty was because of the gears and stuff in the helicopter, that when it switched so fast, it tore the drivetrain out of the helicopters. So they couldn't, you know,
That's
they
what
couldn't
you want.
switch that fast. Huh?
That's what you want.
Right. Well, what he said is now because this is good for a quadcopter too, that the gyro switches so fast, they had to come up with a higher speed one for the hovering and all the stuff it does, that it, you know, is the computer is making it hover and stuff like this.
Yep.
And he says it's so fast that the old ones on the racing copters and stuff wouldn't respond fast enough. So this one is supposed to respond fast enough for a computer. So basically all that timer is a little computer that's changing RPM. And it will recognize that twice as fast. It's supposed to recognize twice as fast on how it can switch.
Twice as fast as what?
As a normal ESC for airplanes. So, and that's what he said. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it. And I'm going to try it with a Ferretti system to see if I can see any difference.
Yeah.
Between the two.
What I did was I experimented between the Igor version of the Spin 66 and the one from Esprit, the Spin Pro 66. I can't tell any difference.
Neither can I. We've already tried that, me and John Paris, you know, and he tried to figure out if the one could switch over, you know, say was twice as fast. And I don't know how much the Igor timer dropped down to the Spin 66 now. You know, was it 50%? Was it, you know, we figured at 50%. And at 50%, the model would travel an extra 5 inches before it reached full RPM.
Well, it kind of depends on the pitch of the prop. And of course, the big thing is, you know, there's so many variables. One of the things is the weight of the propeller. You know,
right, but that would be a constant on either one you put it on.
ESC and use a heavy prop, it's not going to be any. It's going to be slower than a Spin Pro 66 with a light prop.
Yeah, it would, but I mean, that's a, you know, usually, you know, we use the propeller, motor, everything as a constant. Okay. Only change the ESC like you did, more than likely, to see if you could actually tell a difference. You know, and that's why I couldn't see a difference between $129 ESC and a $80-some ESC. I want to see if I can tell a difference with a $39 ESC.
Well, that would be good if we could find a less expensive and reliable and, you know, robust enough ESC that's fast enough. That would be good.
And the badasses are made by that was it TW something? It's TRW. It's a famous ESC maker, and I can't think of the name of it. It's like Will Hubrin. That's one of the ESCs that he recommends for his constant deal.
Oh,
or Z, or Z, is it ZTW? Is that it?
Could be. I don't know. I've only used castles. I've only used castles and jetties. So.
Okay. But yeah, it's a famous. It's the one that RSM sells. He sells with that the ZTW or ZWT or whatever that.
ZTW.
You know, huh?
ZTW.
ZTW. Yeah, so that's been around for a long time, and they're big into the quadcopters and all that kind of stuff. I see that a lot of the quadcopter racing copter guys and stuff are running ZTW ones. So
I'd actually like to see some data exactly how fast. You know, it's some way of gauging how fast one is versus the other. Is there some way of doing that when you look at the data, Howard? Would you know that just from looking at the specifications of the ESC?
I haven't seen such a specification.
yeah, and that's the same thing. I looked on all the old stuff, in the jetty, the original jetty spins, and try to find any data they put in there. They don't say what the switching speed is or whatever. And then they came out with a pro, and the pro doesn't say we cut this back 20% or 50% or whatever. So I mean, has anyone tested to really see if there's a difference between the two?
I guess that's the question. I don't want to come out and say that, but I'm beginning to think that there's not any difference between them. At least I'm not good enough to feel.
Dean
What
knows what to test.
I was working on my own timer, right? And what I found out is the amount of time that goes through a loop of the code, it's about 3 to 4 milliseconds. Okay, to do all the calculations and loop it over. So
That's Mike doing something, wiping the screen or something.
I just muted him.
Yeah. So the loop that through which the program updates the throttle control, it's every 3 to 4 milliseconds. Now, that's 3 to 4 thousandths of a second. How many RPMs do you get in a 3 to 4 thousandths of a second? You know, and that's if you look at the switching, I mean, it can be whatever it wants to be, as long as it's less than that, you're fine.
I think we're splitting hairs here.
And that's where I think, and that's what that guy from Badass Solutions said about how fast it does, that these new ones will run 40,000 RPM. So it's got to go through that loop to adjust throttle, really fast to see, but 40,000 RPMs isn't a fast loop compared to 3 to 4 milliseconds.
Yeah,
that's really slow.
Okay, let's look at our planes. We run about 10,000 RPMs roughly, right? Give or take. I'm being conservative, right? So 10,000. And now that divided by 60 is 16 RPM. 10,000. Yeah, no. It's 10,000. Okay, divided by 60, it's 166 rotations per second, right?
Right.
So, if I do that in per second is this much, okay. So
be 1 millionth of that.
1 millionth of that divided by 1 million.
Yeah.
1 million. 1, 2, 3. By 1 million. So I have 0.0001 RPMs.
Yeah, we're splitting hairs.
Yeah, I mean, just and that's how fast. And think about this: the output that goes in 1 RPM is like depends how many poles you have on the motor. I think it's 14 times the rotation.
Yeah.
The stuff changes. So it times 14.
Well, let us know what we want to get on to other things, but let us know, Steve, what what you find out about the speed of this governor.
Yeah, we ordered. Well, John Paris wanted to. We ordered. John Paris ordered one, so I'm going to get that to him. And he is an engineer, and I don't know what kind of machinery or whatever they have in his shop, but everything on cars now work off a computer, so he may be even able to test
when they can get the chip.
Yeah, so he's got the Jetty Spin Pro. He'll have this one. He's got some other ones, and he was gonna see maybe on an oscilloscope, something you can change it and see what it does, how fast it is.
I don't know anything about the technical aspects of this, but I just want to know which one, if there's really a significant difference between the Spin and the Spin Pro 66.
Well, that's what John was saying about it changing. If it was twice as slow, that the airplane traveling at, we figured 60 miles an hour, and how fast the propeller would get up to speed. I mean, he's like 5 inches. So that's how far, if it's half the deal. And he's like, I don't know.
Some people would find that significant and some wouldn't.
Yeah. And the thing is that going through the corner, it's going to see it and hit it. Once you go straight, it should be to full power anyway. And then he's like, that's saying that we're going to gain, I forget what he said, 1,000 RPM. He says, but most people are only, gaining 200 to 400 RPM. So that would even, lengthen that.
Well, let me ask Howard a question. Howard, if we were to then adjust the sensitivity, would that change? Would that compensate for that?
No.
Good answer.
So what does the sensitivity do then? What is it telling it?
It just gives me a little bit extra boost when you need it.
Well, the boost comes on quicker, right?
The
higher you go in sensitivity, the quicker the boost goes on.
Well, the amplitude's greater. But if you don't have the frequency response in the speed controller, you can't make up for that.
What's your gut reaction at all this? Do you think it's that we're seeing something unique out of the Igor speed control that none of the others have, or was this just a ploy to sell more speed controls? I hate to say it that way.
It's I presume it's faster than the others.
Significantly?
And, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Dean can do.
Okay, I'll put this in Dean's lap and we'll table this till next time.
Put this in Dean's lap.
Okay.
Well, and I don't know for sure if the motor and all that could even respond as fast as what the speed controller is telling it. I mean, if you went from 3 milliseconds to 6 milliseconds to tell that to go to full power or whatever your top setting is, I mean,
I think that would have a lot to do with the weight of the propeller.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is 3 milliseconds. That is nothing for it to tell to go to full throttle. I mean, that's why I don't think anybody could tell that an airplane went from this RPM to that RPM in 3 milliseconds over 6 milliseconds.
No, what
now,
I'm
if
saying,
it was 3 seconds to 6 seconds, I'd say yes. But I just can't.
What's this 3 milliseconds?
That's the loop time for it to.
Yeah, that.
when I was
think that's a consequence.
Well, when I was playing with my stuff to do my program, right? There's a feature in there in which I count how many milliseconds takes to go from this loop it around and come back to the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's about 3 to 4 milliseconds.
Okay, but that the thing under discussion here is the response of the speed controller.
Right.
Yeah, but the response to what? Because the timer basically updates it every 3 to 4 milliseconds, outputs a new code for the servo, but that's not actually true because of the code that goes to the servo, code that goes to the ESC, it's amplitude modulate, right? So it has a certain shape to it, right? And pulse width modulation, and I think it takes from 1500, I think it's 1500 milliseconds to 2000 milliseconds, right? Somewhere in that range. So even though you update the code every 3 milliseconds, at the fastest possible, you actually update the pulse to the ESC every 1500 milliseconds minimum, because you have to have that shape, that on-off kind of thing that tells the servo, yeah, I want it to be at idle or I want to be at full power, where full power is 2000 milliseconds and the idle will be 1500 milliseconds, right? So you have to give that signal, that pulse. If you look on an oscilloscope, it's probably going to go up, or it's going to go high, it's going to stay for that amount of time, and then it's going to go low, right? And then it goes over, goes high again, goes over, and goes low again. And the ESC is looking at that information to turn on the to run the motor. So long story short, even though you have this a fast whatever,
You're saying the frequency response of the pulse width modulated signal is so slow that
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter with ESC. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Exactly. Even in my thing on my update 3 milliseconds, it's gonna go through 1500 divided by 3, right? It's gonna go through 500 cycles before it sends a full pulse to the ESC.
Oh, the pulse width is you're wrong, Train. The pulse width is 1 millisecond to 2 milliseconds and varies, varies between 1 millisecond and 2 milliseconds.
Is that right? I thought it was
no.
Okay, I'm wrong then. Okay.
So what makes a motor that can turn up higher RPM? Is it that pulse mode doing that? That's making that engine run faster?
No.
A
PWM.
lot of it has to do with KV too.
No, it's the
modulation. PWM signal from the timer is what adjusts the RPM of the motor.
Yeah. The mystery to me is how Paul Walker can feel a difference between the Thunder Power battery and what's his name's battery?
Yeah,
Dane Martin.
Dane Martin. Yeah.
He's making me go back for RC stuff right now.
Well, I was talking to Joe Jelly. Joe's been using those light ions, and he says he can definitely feel the difference.
Isn't that weird? Now, this is after they've adjusted for weight. What the heck is happening there? That's a question for Dean.
He says it gives you more punch after a corner. So it's I don't know what electronically is doing that, but it's giving it more punch after the corner. They both said that. Paul said that, and so did Joe.
Yeah. And what can we measure to determine that? What's happening there? There's a question for Dean.
Ask him too on RPM if that makes if one ESC can run a motor at 20,000 RPM and another can run it at 40,000 RPM. And this thing is switching between 3 wires, and it's got to really switch fast to keep that magnetic field going to turn the propeller.
Well,
so something's working faster in there.
Doesn't the KV of the motor have something to do with that?
Well, yeah, you have to have a KV.
You have to have a motor capable of turning those speeds.
Right, but
so
not all of the ESCs are capable of running higher KV motors.
So
they max out at 20,000 RPM, and you could have a KV motor that would run.
I'll try to get Dean to log on and come on here one night and give us a presentation.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to know, because I bought another one because I burnt this one up, and it was a good lesson to know how to program it stuff. But that's why I wanted to tell everybody, don't hook both batteries at the same time, because that little gray thing gets hot and then it don't work no more.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons about this electrical stuff. Like you hook the red wire to the plus and the black wire to the minus, not the other way around.
Yeah.
I demonstrated that here a couple weeks ago.
Well, and I found out the other thing is that ESCs do not run on smoke, because I didn't let any smoke out of it, but it still quit working. So ESCs run on something totally different than motors and stuff.
You see, Charles, your problems with fuels, electric doesn't solve everything. There's still problems to solve here.
That's right. Hey, you guys saw me laughing. I want to share with you what was so funny while I was laughing. What had nothing to do with
What's so funny?
What was so funny was my friend Joe Mata, he on the text, he goes, hi, Charles and everyone. Tough day today. Michelle, that's his wife. Michelle had to hand feed me dinner because I couldn't lift my arms from holding your Strega. Still love the Strega. And he was holding my plane all day, pretty much. And so that's why I was laughing. That's so funny.
And like Billy Weirwood once said, man, you build an airplane that's bigger than you are, sooner or later it's going to whoop you.
Are you sure your glow driver and your plug was good?
Well, I tried Carl's glow driver. I tried Joe Mata's Joe driver. I did my Joe driver. I mean, not Joe driver, but glow driver. Yeah, I did.
Easy for you to say.
You didn't put anybody else. I'd have put somebody else's fuel in the thing. At least he'd have fired.
He can't, Steve. He's running FAI fuel.
Yeah, I don't want to put any caster or anything in my engine. I don't want.
Yeah, but you could have dripped a few drops into the Venturi and see if it fired. I mean, that ain't gonna be enough.
I did get it to fire a few times, but I just couldn't get it to continue to run.
You sure you weren't using Windex?
Yeah, I know. Joe slipped my fuel or something, or Carl. Yes, Carl and Joe with me today.
What do you have to get a diesel head for that?
What is that thing you float in? You float in fluids to tell.
Hydrometer.
You need to get a hydrometer and test your methanol.
Well, yeah, if there's one sensitive enough for that.
Hey,
I gotta head out and I gotta take my doggy out. So.
All right, thanks for coming in, Bob. And
Hey, Bob. Good night, Bob.
By the way, you guys, Brent Williams said hi a long time ago. I just couldn't get that in, but hi, Brent. Thanks for coming in and checking in with us. And I know John Miller knows you really well and says hi to you. And anyways, hey, walk your dog. Thanks for coming in.
Brett, did you get my PM, my post message?
Let's see if he responds.
Private message.
Hey, Bob, I got a question for you real quick before you leave.
Yeah, Eddie, what's up?
I got blueprints or plans for the Cobra 7.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of the page, it says something about a Bob White Shoes hunt.
Yeah.
Where'd the white shoes come from?
I used to wear white patent leather loafers when I flew. White pants,
really?
white socks.
Okay.
And my nickname was Bobby White Shoes.
Okay.
Hell, he wore. You never seen the old videos, Bob? Hell, he had white pants, white shoes.
All right, wait a minute. I'll give you.
Yeah, you got to share that.
I'll give you.
Yeah,
by the way, Bob.
Yeah, you need to see a color picture. You know, and the bad part is they took him in color, and Bob was in black and white the whole time anyway.
So does that plane fly good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, an excellent airplane.
Hey,
I
Bob,
got
did you
that
hear me,
picture
Bob?
here someplace. Hold
I
on a
said,
sec.
Brent Williams. Yes, I did.
Yeah, here we go. Hold on. We'll give you one thing before I leave here. Share screen. Window. Okay, here you go.
Oh my.
All right.
Oh yeah.
There he is.
Let me
Look at
see.
that. White pants, white shoes. You don't remember that? I mean,
Those
Wow,
are
look at that.
That
Bob
was
was
real
stylish.
nice, Clark.
That was the winning flight at Woodville, England in 1978.
That looks awesome, Bob.
That is an awesome stance. That you look awesome, Bob. That is so cool.
I love
That
the way
was-
your hair was flowing in the wind.
I had to take a leak.
That is so cool.
That's the same pants and shoes that he wore at Woodstock.
No.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That
I
is.
think the Chinese are copying you now. They wear white pants and white shoes at the World Championship.
Oh,
You inspired them.
That was an interesting era in stunt.
Yes, it was.
Didn't
Maybe we should go
Gialdini
back to
bring
it.
that? Didn't Gialdini bring that on?
Yeah.
And got them
Yeah.
from Clark Griswold. Them were some real nice ones, Clark.
That is a cool picture.
But
Hey, Bob.
to answer your question, I mean, that Cobra 7 is really very similar to my Saturn. Actually, the Saturn was designed after I saw the Cobra 7 and talked to Mike about it. And he said, well, it was actually a set of airfoils that Billy Weirwich had come up with. So I kind of stole those and used that basic airfoil in the Saturn.
What Cobra 7 look like? Do you have a picture of it, Bob? I know your dog has to go for a walk, but I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't have one I can put up here now. No, I don't.
Okay, no problem.
But it
Did
looks a
you-
lot like the Saturn.
Okay. Did you hear me earlier, Bob? I was trying to communicate to you that Brent Williams said, yes, I did, and I will donate to your contest.
Oh, okay. We didn't want to get to that point.
The on that Cobra 7, the rudder almost resembles that of the Cardinal too.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's a very nice airplane. It flew very, very, very well, you know.
Oh, one thing I wanted to share with you guys, my control system hooked up, but that's not what I want to share. But what I want to share was I was trying to find the culprit, and I have this endoscope, like a borescope, hooked up to my cell phone.
Yeah.
And it's a neat thing when you want to investigate something. I mean, the ID is like 3/16 of an inch, and I was just snaking it through the wing to try to determine where the problem was. And I just I thought that was a really cool thing.
Yeah, that'd come in handy if you've got sticky controls.
Yeah.
How much was that, Carl?
Before Bob gets off here, I know some of you guys there at the Nats met Samantha's friend Carson. That she was here with. He found out tonight that his dad has cancer, and he was told to get down there as quick as possible. So him and her left tonight to go to Illinois. So keep in your thoughts and stuff. And
all right,
it's kind of a bad thing. I mean, he just last week we got him, soloed in control line for the first time.
Oh man,
we were supposed to fly this weekend, but now he can't go.
Carson's a great guy. I liked him. I sat and talked with him for a while.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Hey, what color is that? Bronze? Is that bronze?
Yeah, actually it's copper, but that's okay.
So the OPS stands for other people's, yeah.
Yeah.
Other people's.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That is
What?
nice looking.
Bob, what year was that, the Saturn?
I finished and flew that in 92 the first time. I flew it at the World Championships in I flew it at the team selection in 93.
You flew it at the 95 Nats. That's where I saw it.
Yeah, I had it there, and I had it at Lubbock in '94, and I had it at the Worlds in China in '94, and at the Worlds in Czechoslovakia in '92. That airplane got a lot of miles on it.
That's
Yeah,
that's one the tune pipe just
A pretty
just coming in,
airplane.
huh?
I've always liked that.
Yeah, that was the second. Well, that was my second, or actually my third tune-piped airplane. The first one was the original Crossfire, and then an airplane that not many people know about called the Lexicon. Anybody know about that airplane?
I've heard the name.
Let me get a Lexicon here. Hold on a second.
Poor
That was
dog.
an interesting reel behind your Saturn in that last photo. Never seen a reel like that.
Bass fishing.
Is it a wooden reel? I'm not looking at it right now.
Yeah,
The metal one.
it was like a metal reel.
Oh, I don't know. That wouldn't be mine.
Or metallic.
I have a wooden reel. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find this. Give me a second here, and then I gotta go.
Yeah, we're gonna end up transitioning to the after party very, very quickly.
Did
Question for Bob: isn't this your Saturn and the Cobra 7 and the Juno all very similar?
Well, not the Juno. The Juno has a swept forward trailing edge and a severely swept forward trailing edge. The Cobra 7 and the Saturn are very similar, except the Cobra 7 was an I-beam airplane, where the Saturn was a foamer. So a little different, you know. But the airfoils were the same, and it really flew well. I mean, it was probably one of my best airplanes. I'm just trying to find this other one here.
Here's a picture of it. I pulled up on the internet. I don't know how to.
You have to wait till Bob Hunt finishes sharing at the show what you want
Yeah,
to
this
say.
is the Lexicon, and then I'm gonna get going here. This was the second tune-piped airplane I built, dedicated tune-piped. I had the first dedicated tune-piped airplane.
Oh, that's nice looking.
I like that.
I can see how it morphed into a Crossfire. I can see that.
I made the '92 team flying that airplane.
Nice
And then it
blend.
was very short-lived because we took it to the Nats in '92, and it got wet. It was a very wet day, and it got saturated. It was very light. I had to hollow it out to almost nothing, and the water got inside of it, and it swelled up, and it ruined the look of the airplane. So I sold it to a guy up in Massachusetts, and he flew it for several years. But that was 720 squares and weighed 52 ounces.
Wow. That's
the big
That's
airplane.
like bill numbers.
That is
basically what that is.
That's almost as big as Charles' plane.
What it is, it's a USA 1.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got the USA 1 wing in it and foam. It's just a foam version of the USA 1 wing.
All right.
Bob didn't keep it because he didn't paint it copper color.
Yeah.
very nice.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you.
I'm gonna call it quits too.
Well, we're gonna
See you later.
We're gonna quit the stream but thanks, Mike. We're gonna quit.
Did Marseille get in there?
Marcel, or is that how
Yeah.
you say it? Hang on a second. Let me see here. Let me get back to that screen.
He junked the first set of nacelles for his Pathfinder twin.
He didn't. He hasn't come in. I don't see him anywhere in the chat.
But
No, we didn't see him.
it was interesting because he was out of balsa wood, and he found out after he built the nacelles that his engines needed more room to give him a tank big enough, need to be a longer nose. And so he decided he was going to build a new pair of nacelles, but he didn't have any balsa. So, New Zealand's on lockdown. And so, he called apparently called a buddy. His buddy set him out set the wood out in the driveway. He had enough to share. And he went over, I don't know, in the dead of night or whatever, but because he was on lockdown, he's not supposed to leave anywhere except to go buy food. He went over, picked up that wood and came home, and now he's got a new set of nacelles.
Ah, cool. Yeah, he hasn't. I hear it. Well, here's Mike Regal. He says, well, Good night, everyone. I was watching. Thank you, Mike Miguel. And we're going to be ending the live stream, but we're going to continue on to the after party. But just in review, we've had as many as 20. It's like around 26 viewers. We have 20 likes, no chat revenue, no new members. Got a nice show tonight. Thank you very much. And we are going to continue on. We're just going to end the live stream portion of the show. So thank you very much for coming in. We'll be back Monday, same bad time, same bad channel. We will see you then.